Let's look at the documents used to record labor costs. There are a number of them, and we are going to look at each of them one by one, and we are going to start with job cards. So these job cards are opened for each job, and they are used to record the time when someone starts working and when they end or when they complete their work. So it records the starting time and then the end time or the completion time. So this mainly applies to the time rate system, whereby wages is paid according to the time that you've worked. They pay you according to the number of hours you've worked, so they pay per hour. So a time rate is applied on the difference between the two times, the difference between the starting time and then the completion time. If you work from 9 to 5, that is 8 hours. So you would have worked for 8 hours. So that is the time. Then they'll multiply with what you're supposed to be earning per hour. Then they get what they are supposed to pay you. So job cards, they record the starting time and then the completion time of the work. And it mainly applies to the time rate system. Another document we have is the timesheets. Timesheets can be daily or weekly. So these ones record a detailed analysis of the time spent on the job, like you were at work for 8 hours. What were you doing? Yeah, what was the idle time in between? What was the overtime that you worked and all that? So it gives a detailed analysis of the time spent on the job. For the job card, they just state when you started and then when you completed the work. Yeah, that's the difference between the two. Another document we have is the clock card. A clock number on a card is assigned to each employee. Companies that have those machines, like when you are just new to the organization, they give you a number. Maybe your number is 216. So every time you come to clock in, when you arrive at work, your number shows that this person with this card number has clocked in. Then when you're leaving work, you still clock out. So it shows. So they calculate the difference between when you clocked in and when you clocked out. So this clock card records the clock in time or the arrival time. Then it also records the clock out or the departure time by inserting the card in the automatic clock that prints the between times, the arrival and departure. So this one just checks like the time when you arrived and then when you left, then the time in between the other hours you worked. So this checks on the punctuality and absenteeism of an employee, because you cannot check in when you actually did come to work. Then the difference in the time recorded is what is paid as the time in attendance. If you come at 9 and clock out at 1, that is the time that will be paid. So that is the clock card. It records the clock in and clock out time of the employees. Then we have wage sheet or the payroll sheet. So this one lists all the employees alphabetically according to their serial numbers, and it records the hours worked by each employee from the clock card and from the time sheets, which is multiplied by the rate of pay. It also contains the gross pay, like the overtime, the basic salary, the bonus, any allowances, deductions such as NSSF, pay, and then net pay. So the wage sheet lists everything. It has all the employees listed, then it shows the hours worked. It also contains the gross pay plus the net pay. And it is this wage sheet or the payroll sheet that is used when paying workers their salaries or their wages. employee record card. So this one has information, basic information about each employee. It shows the employee profile or history in the organization. It shows things like the details of the appointment, the title or position of each employee, the rate of pay, promotions, then transfers. The last document is the piecework tickets. So these ones are used where employees are paid on piece rate, like they are paid on how much they have produced or how much work they have done in a day. If you've produced maybe 100 units, you are paid accordingly. If you produce 80 units, you're paid less money. So it applies where employees are paid on piece rate. So it contains the units or the pieces of work completed by each employee.